evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Bill Fisher, I'm a huge fan of yours, as you know, and you've been on before. You do like a billion projects that I love. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, William. Good to be back, and big fan of yours too.
Well, thank you. It's funny because I was first inaugurated into you from church, the probably the more well-known band, but your solo album, Hallucinations, is probably like one of my favorite albums. It's so good. Like your other solo albums are good too, but when I first did that one, to me that's like it's like Leon Russell's Carney album. Like to me, it's a you know what I
Nice.
mean? It's a good solid song album that just every song feels like a hit that you've known before, but it's not familiar.
Well,
So,
thanks a million. I mean,
no,
it's like the songwriting is really the my main interest in all of this whole thing. Probably over and above production and even playing live. I think the songwriting is the thing I get the most joy out of.
with the success of the church, did it allow you to do more stuff like your solo album and then doing, Massive Hassle with your brother? Like, is it allowing you to do more things now because of your success?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've had a huge amount of success really in
Well,
in relative terms, but I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely it's I guess yeah, it's I mean, I've always been writing like lots of different genres,
right.
recording myself, and doing various bands with friends and that. But obviously, yeah, I think the church stuff kind of really sort of opened up an avenue of like this is sort of a way of doing it kind of independently and not having to kind of
Hmm.
um, have any sort of backing from a label or anything else like that. So it sort of gives you total freedom to do, any of these sort of weird and wacky projects that are,
Right.
not the way kind of genre kind of consistent, if you like.
I mean, you do have a common thread through all the music you do, whether it's, with your brother or, you know, the church or just your solo stuff. I mean, it's always that it's very soulful. It's got a bit of satire in it, but it's, a good song. And the only difference is some songs may have more psychedelic guitar or just piano or crunchy guitar. You know what I mean? But you really have a lot of that. You really have a lot of soul in all the music you do, though.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think that I don't know. I mean, I guess yeah, some of it has yeah, some of it is like you say, it's got a little bit of satire in it, and it's but yeah, there's definitely it's like soulful. Yeah, I guess it's from the heart. Even though I suppose with church especially, there's some it veers into like ridiculous realms and kind of the prog, ludicrousness of prog in general,
Right.
kind of quite amusing. Um, but yeah, behind it, there's still songs that like mean something to me at least, and yeah, definitely like a kind of sadness. I think is in there
Hmm.
as opposed to I don't know, maybe kind of anger. Yeah, say it's definitely not kind of happy, clappy music.
Melancholy.
Yeah, melancholic. Yeah, even though like it might be presented as very sort of colourful and you know
Maybe
jangle.
that's why I like it so much. I love the melancholy. It's very relatable. You know, uh, with the balance now, because obviously when Church of the Cosmic Skull came out, and a lot we were really active towards the end of probably like 2016 up until the pandemic. You guys were really most active with the band there, and then since then you've done more stuff with your brother, and then you've done a couple solo albums since then.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to Cosmic in a minute, but let's talk
Mhm.
about the first. So did you? Let's talk about the band you do with your brother. The name you hit with the name, the whole songwriting process of working with your brother. I mean, your brother's super talented. You guys sound fantastic together. Nothing like family members
Thank you.
singing together to have a great, untouchable harmony. That singing DNA is just untouchable. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we wanted to, really kind of, yeah, play on that, or not play on it, but just explore that more. Like we've done, I mean, we did a project before Massive Hassle, which was called Mammoth Wing, um,
Hmm.
where we did both sing, but it was never actually in harmony or kind of together. It was like we just sung different songs. I was playing bass in that, and he was playing guitar. Um, that was kind of before church. So yeah, I mean, it's we just thought like obviously the name and well, and the whole kind of ethos of like don't let it become a massive hassle, as in try and keep it, yeah, try and keep it like more or just simpler
Yeah.
and say quicker. I mean, it's yeah. Basically, it turns out whichever way around you do this thing, it just does take a long time and a lot of patience to get these things right. Because obviously, we go in and we are trying to do well. We're doing the third album now, working on it.
Oh wow.
You know, it's trying to get everything completely live, as in the tracking everything all together with all the singing
Mhm.
harmonized and the instruments. um, which is just it just takes a long time to get good enough at the songs themselves to be happy with, because obviously we're quite perfectionist about it needs to
Perfectionist.
be reasonably on pitch and in time and everything else.
But
um,
the sounds are fantastic, you guys. It's worth the wait though. Like your brother's guitar sound with your piano sound. Oh my God, in the it just it works so good. And being so
well,
so simple with only a few instruments. I say simple as in not having an orchestra, not talking about the song, but just keeping the basics together.
yeah.
It's so beautiful and it's just so it's so powerful for being just a few instruments.
Sure. Well, yeah, because it is just all the pitched instruments are just him. Well, it's just one guitar with the bass is what's it called? Pitch shifted. So it is all
Mhm.
just one take of the guitar, and then drums and both of us singing at the same time. So yeah, I think again, I'm sure I said this last time, and I will always say it. Really, is that the limitation there forces you into different creativity,
Right.
different sort of creative approach.
So, and this is something that interests me because I mean, you have such a wealth of material out in such a period of time. I mean, I think you've probably put out most of the albums in the past 10 years as the Beatles did now 10 years. At this point, with all the things you've done, you put out, between church, it's solo albums, and then, and massive with
Mm.
your brother. How are you breaking it down? Like, what songs strike? I mean, you're writing obviously quality songs because I love them and we're talking to them. So to me, that they're really great songs on each of these projects. So it's not like you're just slapping out these things. How are you
Mm.
like I'm just doing church songs, or you just write a song and you're like, church pile, this me and my brother, this is different, oh, this is solo for me. You know what I mean? Or you like, and then how are you breaking up the time periods when you're doing it? Like, we're gonna do a thing here. Are the people in the church going, hey, well, we're gonna do an album because, or you know what I'm saying? Like, how are we doing all that?
Yeah,
You
I
got a lot
get you.
going on there.
Well, it'd be okay. So with Hassel, it was again, there's like part of the kind of entire approach was that we would write everything together in the studio. So we're not bringing in any sort of old ideas from outside,
Hmm.
within reason. Um, we're not presenting entire songs. Like I'm not bringing a song in, going like, "Here's the guitar part," and he's not bringing songs that he's demoed, and
Yeah.
here's the drum part. It's literally like we jam, find little bits of the jam. Sometimes we will sort of go in the booth and do a bit of like random la 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 singing over the top of that one at a time. And sometimes we'll sing while we're playing, just trying to find things that work basically.
Right.
So that wouldn't, that doesn't really cross over in terms of the bank of old ideas as such. I think with church and solo stuff, that would definitely be more um, because I am writing it. It's obviously, yeah, I get what you mean. There's like which one goes where. Um, but I think it's just like so I tend to like, I'll sit down at the piano or the guitar or whatever, and
Hmm.
just kind of stick a little, do the voice note app thing. Let's have that going. And so there's a bank of songs there. To be honest, weirdly, I don't actually tend to even go back over and listen to that to the voice notes very often. It's usually like, here's a new idea, or I'll come back to the piano and it'll be like, oh yeah, there's that thing, and you sort of gradually start building things around
Hmm.
a theme. Um, but yeah, I think with the new church material, because there's another the fifth album is now essentially almost completely tracked. Um,
That's awesome.
thanks. I mean, there was definitely sort of a period where it was like, it was more of a crossover in terms of like, would this be this certain song? Would that be a solo
Hmm.
thing, and vice versa? So I think for me with that, it's more like, is this going to work with five, six, seven vocals,
Okay.
different vocalists all layered on?
Yep.
Um, does it have is it kind of geared towards Hammond or piano and guitar? I mean, saying that, there's a song on there which is actually very sparse. So I think even with these rules, it's you
Right.
break them. It's like the first Church album had a Answers in Your Soul, which was just
Hmm.
me and acoustic. So
So,
it's just it's whether the theme fits or whether the
so sometimes just music just fits, right? What you're just writing in that mode, it's just. I was just curious because I mean, there is a strong thing. Yeah, your solo stuff could actually easily go into the church stuff, and vice versa, because the way the church is built, um, it sonically can go anywhere. It really, the very first album, you don't really. First off, you kind of define your own sound, where it's kind of like pop, but it's kind of like the '70s, but it's not really the '70s. It's got guitars from just how like it's all in this weird time frame of that's never existed, or but also did, you know. So you have no rules as it is. So
yeah, I mean that was kind of deliberate in a way. Like the very first album, and with all the albums, was to sort of not have all the songs very similar. I mean,
mhm,
especially the first one because it was like, here we are.
yeah,
So it's kind of like we are allowed to have heavy elements, but then it's very clear that we are allowed to have much lighter, kind of major key,
right.
even funky stuff going on. Sort of psyche weirdness, weird time signatures. Do you know what I mean? So there's
Hmm.
definitely it was like deliberately varied enough to keep the kind of options open for future pathways. So it's not like this is like a 70s hard rock band.
Yeah, because you don't sound like when you just have elements of a lot of different things in there that have this really sound that I just could never put my finger on, which is probably what I love about the band. But so as a songwriter and you do production and stuff, and you play like almost every instrument, and as a songwriter, you're probably envisioning when everything goes apart. In different projects you're in, are you saying you come in, do you bring it like how does a songwriter go to a project like do your brother, you guys are writing together, but you're like, this is how I hear it. He's like, this is how I hear it. We kind of just make it work. Or you guys kind of trying different things. And then the same thing with church. Is it like when I write these songs, this is kind of how I hear it, and then everybody kind of does their parts and then works from there? Or is it like, you know what I'm saying? Because everyone has a different way. And songwriters always have a different way, and every band has a different way. Like some bands come in with a completed song, and each member comes in with a completed song, and the other guys just have to play it, which is way intense. And you know,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's different song to song and different band to band. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, with like the latest Church album, I think just increasingly over the years, I've got more and more like exacting and more like
yeah,
I've got a very clear idea of what I want right from the beginning. I mean, the first album, there were certain songs which were like very demoed, and then there were others where the demos were kind of quite loose. And I think working with the band, arguably, it probably is better to give, the more room you can give the players to play with, the
yeah,
better. Also, I think, yeah, it's. I don't know. This one, it's just to me, it's all sounding really good, and yeah, it's I
Well,
have you
I think it's hard for your music because your music is very open to pin down. It's like trying to describe like a Picasso painting or something. Like it's just so, you know, to put the right words into it. I'm just trying to get an idea of the process because you have so much out there and the time of creating it. You do all the instruments, but you also have bands where you have other members that are also creative, and you know don't want to stifle them. And you're like, well, this is what I'm thinking. In some bands, it's like, well, this is a guide track. You do your thing, and let's see how it works out. But then ultimately, you're still steering the ship. I mean, that excites band members to be more involved in the music if they have their hands in it a little bit.
yeah.
But does it honor the
Also,
does it serve the song in the end is really the question because it might not. Just to have them in if their ego doesn't help either.
exactly, yeah, for sure. I mean, that was a big part of the deciding who was going to be in church in the first place. It was definitely a sort of idea of get people who are songwriters themselves, even if they're not going to be writing songs for this. It's people who've got a kind of overarching view of what is good for the song,
Hmm.
as opposed to find like say like a shredder guitarist and
Right,
like amazing chops players. Not that they don't have chops.
right. But they can't
You know,
write a song, so they don't know how to put it their chop to the song.
yeah, like a tastefulness and like more of a focus on the song. Yeah, that sort of stuff. But
Is it?
yeah, and also with that, it means that everybody's kind of got other outlets for their creativity. So it's not like everybody's jostling for you know this is their only opportunity to write a song, and it has to
Right.
be through this channel. So, and equally for myself, it's like I think if it was the only place I was writing songs, then if I wasn't doing the other project, uh, I think it would be much less focused and possibly, if it's possible, even more
Is it?
self-indulgent.
So I guess really two things. So, um, one thing is so, you're, including your brother and other band members in church, they also have other projects going on to themselves. Is it also, or some of them
So I
mostly
mean,
just doing stuff on the side, but nothing really going besides these things you're doing?
yeah, I mean, there's various things that over the years that the different members have been doing. Um,
Okay.
Obviously, like right from the beginning, it was sort of billed as this kind of supergroup thing where it's like all people from different, you know, fairly well-established bands from
Hmm.
before.
I've talked to
Uh,
like so many artists, and there's always just different. There's no like right or wrong. It was just fantastic to hear. Like, but some people have a band, and someone like an artist like you who just is a consummate writer of all kinds of music, and just you're always writing and working on stuff. So it just can't be one direction. Sometimes in members that are in bands like that, they're happy to contribute and tour and whatever. But when they're not doing that, the band's enough for them, and they don't really feel like they have to do anything else. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that's where they're at, and they spend their time doing other things, fishing, painting, with a family, whatever. I don't know. But an artist like you is pretty driven. You have a lot of creativity where it's just like that's kind of what I do. You know what I mean? The big part of what I do. And I don't like to take a break because clearly, you know,
yeah, I mean, I mean, I think from the, I think some people would say that we, in a way, we have taken a break because obviously church hasn't really done anything for over a year as such, but obviously I have been writing
yeah.
and things like that. Like we haven't been gigging, but
Yeah, you haven't done that one in a while, have you, for church? It's about time, been a couple of years.
I haven't
You know.
really played for over what is it, a year, 2 years, a year? Can't remember now. But to be honest, it's been I don't know. I've been enjoying that. It's like the pressure of the live thing
Right.
distract, I think, from songwriting. And yeah, I mean, like this is the thing. I think it depends on what like and everybody can sort of see, if you know what I mean. So I don't think
Hmm.
obviously say listeners of church would be. It's not like all of them are aware that there is a side project. There's a project with my brother, or there's a solo project,
Right.
and vice versa. The audience is there's obviously a crossover, but it's definitely not all just the same audience, which is interesting.
Well, I think one person likes church could probably like all your other stuff. I mean, that's why to me, I became a fan of the church, and then your soul stuff, and then like yourself with your brother's guitar playing, and you guys harmonize together. And obviously, I like you as a guitar player, but I'm saying, but like he plays his great too. So just you guys work together. And it's like th three different artists all in one. It's kind of like a bonus for me, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, he'd be he's worlds better at playing the guitar than I am. I'd definitely be a drummer first, and well, I suppose actually piano first, really, but I'm not particularly good at that. But yeah, in terms of like technical ability, I'd say I am more of a drummer than the rest of it.
Was that your first instrument? I don't usually do that, but that's his the very beginning stories. But was that what was your first instrument?
Well, the piano or keyboard was really
Okay.
never like the first instrument I played in a band was drums, uh, sort of technically.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I think it's good to it's to me it's interesting coming at songwriting from the drummer's point of view.
I never realized how many drummers, sorry, they cut into you, that actually write songs. And I've always noticed there's always a certain kind of pattern, except actually it doesn't hold, my theory doesn't hold as well with you being a drummer and the songs that you write as opposed to the songs I hear from other drummers.
Right. Well, I mean, wasn't Hendrix a drummer? He's pretty good at
Probably,
songwriting.
I mean, like you like talking like I don't know, Anthrax or the Foo Fighters and like all those other rock bands that have like drummers that are writing the songs. There's a very
Yeah.
rhythmic thing. There's a push. There's you know, I mean, even the songs has a certain thing.
Yeah.
But with your music, and maybe because there's other people, or because you play a lot of instruments, and that's just how you write, it doesn't feel as it feels more distributed.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably the keys thing, really, because I think, yeah, writing anything on the piano is just very different from writing on the guitar. I think if you go from drums to guitar, you're going to be like riff. It's going to be very
Right.
riff orientated, and it tends to be kind of like the chordal changes aren't going to be like massively interesting sometimes, usually, possibly. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, with obviously with piano, it's just such a different. The movement around the chords and the keys is so different to guitar.
Oh, yeah, like a
But
tempo to a melody type of thing.
say again, sorry.
I'm sorry, like you go from like a tempo to a melody instrument, and you kind of adding
Mm,
on to it. It's kind of that would make sense to me. Like listening to your music, thinking about your music now, how it's got that certain feeling to it. Maybe that's why it sounds so different because of those influence into your songwriting. Maybe you know.
maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, it'll. Yeah. I mean, I'll be listening to say like a new demo or whatever, and it will usually be kind of like what is that little bit there? Like I've definitely heard that before somewhere, and have I accidentally stolen it from somewhere? And I have to ask like people like, what is that
Hmm.
something? And sometimes we figure out that it is, and it needs to be taken out.
That's
Um,
funny because there are some bands you hear things that sound familiar because you can't avoid certain chords or whatever. But
yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard anything in any of your music that sounds like anything to me. Like I haven't honed in anything yet. Like I'm sure maybe someday it might creep in, but you're pretty good about keeping it varied because you know,
sure, yeah. I think it's just as soon as you start doing like melodic, anything melodic,
mhm.
it's suddenly little familiarities start coming through. I think if it's like very riff based, then it's strange really how like if you think about say blues is just literally all the same chord sequence in different keys, um, but there's just lots of it, and you can just keep. I'm never going to get bored of blues.
Right.
Uh, but then weirdly, if you have like very certain chord sequences, it's almost like the chord sequence itself can be copyrighted. There was that whole thing with like what was it, Radiohead, and I can't remember the band. Basically, the song ended up having like three layers of writers, or maybe it was like a new
Wow.
artist for somebody getting sued by Radiohead who'd already been sued by somebody back from the 50s,
Oh,
and it was
okay.
they have the same kind of guitar intro chord pattern. So I don't know, all that's quite, kind of interesting to me. And I think, yeah, like it's when you're writing on piano or writing anything melodic, you is the melody that you're coming up with coming out of absolutely nowhere? Obviously not. It's coming out of all of your influences. Um, so I think that's where it makes sense to try and have a varied genres
Mhm.
and sources of influences. Because otherwise, you can very easily just, if you've decided, oh, we just want to be a band that sounds like Queen,
Right.
then it's quickly going to become obvious and very like you're just going to end up
Boring.
literally stealing Queen motifs.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas if it's like there's just this hint of the idea of Queen while you're writing something, and then there's a hint of something completely different. I mean, this is it. It's like I wouldn't know enough. I don't know how to play like loads of Queen songs, for instance.
Right.
So I wouldn't really be able to just literally lift something from here and there. I'm sure there are musicians who can do that. Who, it's like, oh, I'll take this little thing from AC/DC and this little thing from here and just stitch it
Right.
all together. But I think
Well, it
probably,
feels like you have the essence of it, of the ideas,
mm,
that more than, it's just the heart of the idea, the feeling of it. You're not actually taking it. You're just taking the feeling with it and doing something different with it that you think, it inspires you.
yeah, I mean, it'd be very, I'd never really sit down and think I am going to write a song that is like this band or it's like these two bands. It's always like what, you start with, say, chords. Hopefully, something's like slightly
Yeah.
accidentally wrong, and it's like, ooh, that's interesting. Or, guitar as well. And it's from there, it starts leading you down a path. Um, and you might, half an hour in, it might be at the point where you're saying, "Oh, is that
For me.
that a free song or something?" You know what I mean? Is it
Yeah.
like is that something I recognise? Um, and then you might sort of steer away or steer into that, or
Yeah. Isn't
yeah,
that the danger though? If you write a lot of music, if I know guitar players are like, they've played so many songs, they're like, I'm actually starting to think I actually play my own solos. Like I'm stealing from myself now. Like I'm actually, it's almost like a direct quote from somebody I spoke to. I'm like, a well-known guitar player. They're like, can I sue myself? Am I plagiarizing myself? Is that plagiarizing? Like I wrote it, but it's, you know what I mean?
yes.
I'm retreading it again because it gets to a point as a songwriter because you have a style and you just kind of weave in and out, and you're like, it was a good idea the first time.
I think that's just self-referential, isn't it? It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's better to take from yourself than somebody else stuff. You gotta own up to it. Are you picking up any other new instruments? I get a feeling you're the kind of person who would walk by and say, "That's kind of cool." Pick up an instrument and play with something new or similar, and be like, "I have an idea for a song." Is that kind of a thing?
Yeah, I mean, within reason. Like, I don't know. Like, I think I'm not probably going to start attempting to play sax, for instance. I mean, I have tried once and realized you don't actually just blow and
Yeah,
it makes sound. There's actually like probably a month's worth of actually getting a sound out of just that little reed, let alone the kind of maze of buttons that's on there. So that's unfortunate. I mean, I would like to get into that universe, but really annoys the neighbours as well, doesn't it? So I mean, but then again, like stringed instruments, obviously you can just any fretted
right,
stringed instrument, I suppose you can vaguely oik something out of it, like even if it's tuned differently. Like my brother's got like bazookies and banjos, things like that,
right.
or so that's kind of fun, and it
Yeah, oh
can.
yeah, yeah. You guys have had some in the video. You guys did. You and your brother. You had some fun instruments that totally were not what you guys had on the record for the song.
Yeah,
They're very cool looking.
yeah.
Uh,
So what was that? That is a bazooki, I think, and
yeah.
a yeah, but actually,
Okay.
I think there was
Those
some
are pretty.
comment on the internet saying like
Yeah.
this is the instruments that are being played on the record. It's like, yeah,
Did they say that? I didn't even look that up. I just saw it and I was like, that's awesome. Because it's fun. It's like videos are kind of like top of the pops. You can do serious or you can not. It's a video. Just
exactly. Yeah.
relax.
'Cause, yeah, we'd come out of doing that first album where it was like every single song had been filmed
Hmm.
with us playing everything literally
Yeah.
live. Um, so it was like, well, if we're going to do a music video, we might as well just do something absolutely ridiculous where it's very clear that we're not
Right.
playing live, you know, because it's like, I mean, even at the beginning, it says like drums, like we sort of does this little stop thing where it says
Yeah.
and like a freeze frame, and it's like, you know, drums, you know, all that stuff. I don't know.
I think it's funny myself. I think the video fits. It's a fun video. Um, yeah, I think with what's the people guitarists call they're always like, if you start a guitar and they switch to bass, like they call it's like the lazy guitar. Technically, you can translate to it, but obviously, real bass playing is not lazy guitar.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I really like playing bass back in Mammoth Wing. Actually, that was
Yeah.
the last time I've sort of done that in a band, and you know, even getting into like fingerstyle, as in like right hand,
Hmm.
all that stuff, is really a totally different beast to the guitar.
Right. It can be. How are you doing tours? Are you doing or shows even? Is it just you stuff with Cosmic Skull? Or are you doing stuff with your brother? Because obviously you're
Well,
not over here in you're not over here in the U.S. Like, how are you doing shows, solo stuff with your brother, stuff with the Skull? How are you doing stuff?
well, we haven't, yeah, we haven't done any with Massive Hassle at all. I haven't done any solo shows. Uh,
That's the easy question, right? So basically,
Basically, no, but we aren't against the concept. And I mean, the church, there is plans for more, uh, and probably there'll be some announcement soon. But nothing. I mean, it's not going to be like. Well, let's just leave it at that. Actually,
I'll have the
uh,
website below. People can just follow along the website and wait. We don't need to. Sometimes if things are put out before they're official, it falls apart. It's not good.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
wait. Yeah, I'm all good. I trust me. Been doing this long enough to understand that it's better to wait. You know,
yes.
I was sad to miss you guys. I know we all got to see you last time you toured. I don't feel last time you toured in the U.S. because you were like, I don't know, like a couple hours away. It was just been too hard to get to see you. Unfortunately, hopefully you'll make it around again. It'll be a little easier to see you. And
Yeah,
see you guys play.
yeah. It would be good to get back, and we are planning on it. It's just I mean, I don't know how hard it is for say US bands to get into the UK, but I mean, I know the visas are ludicrous, sort of the one way around.
Hmm.
We get these sort of emails from the well, you know, the like lawyer, like the kind of experts, advice, the people who give you advice on
Yeah.
all that kind of visa, immigration stuff. And it just seems to be like every sort of like 2 months there's another update and like and it's gone up by another 100%. So strap in for that, or you
Yeah,
know,
I have a feeling it's not going to be a lot of bands coming into the U.S. for a while. I think things are a little challenging, for people to be coming in or leaving. You know, it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
how it is. We're gonna have to hold tight and wait till things settle down, I guess. As
yeah,
much as we'd like to see you guys, it's because I know it used to be like 4 or 5 grand just for one person, which is expensive. And then if you bring in merch into the company, a country rather, it is actually like a company, you know.
yeah, yeah,
But you bring it in, you're getting taxed. People don't realize you get taxed coming in. You sell stuff, you get taxed. It's like sometimes you walk away getting taxed like 3 different times off your own merch. So you bought and paid for and carried over.
mhm. And if you have any left, then you've back
Yeah,
paying customs on the way back
right.
out.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
like you can get stuff made in America. I think you know maybe T-shirts. I can't remember exactly all of the ins and outs, but even this was the thing. I suppose it was just such a huge undertaking. I mean, I'm quite
mm,
surprised we managed to do it as an independent band. You know, we did manage to get there
right.
twice under one visa, and sort of vaguely cover a sort of skeletal coverage of the whole nation
How was
ish.
it? How was it? Was it you get good crowds?
Oh yeah, I mean that was the thing. It was yeah, turnouts were great on the whole. I mean there was a couple of like Monday nights that and they were the kind of filler nights, and it was like,
Right.
and still had a great time. Probably some of the best gigs, to be fair. Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, the turnouts were impressive, and yeah, it was like all of it was really encouraging, and there's really no reason why we couldn't do it again if we could just sort of make I think the problem is just there's such a risk of or a financial risk you
Right.
have to put up front. And it's like if something really cataclysmic went wrong, like you just suddenly couldn't go, then it's sort of like lots and lots of grands gone.
Yeah.
Reason there's things you can sort of refund, like probably hotels and things, but like if you bought flights and you've bought, I mean, there was a thing I don't know, another visa thing where they were saying the length of time that it takes for you to get the visa back is actually
Yeah.
longer than the time that you are allowed to apply for it. So
Really.
you can't apply under a year in advance, but the estimated time of getting the visa back is a year and a half.
Oh my
So
God, that's crazy.
just insane. Yeah. But yeah, we are definitely looking forward to making that happen again if we can, when we can.
It's understood. It's understood. I hadn't got a chance to talk to you since then. That's why I was kind of curious how it went. Internet wise, it felt like it went well, but it's good to give the source. So, are we thinking maybe first quarter 26, maybe for a church album coming out?
Well, it'd probably be, I don't know, yeah, like first half of next year is the vague
All right.
plan. These things, yeah, yet to kind of finish mixing and, videos and stuff.
I hear you. I didn't know. Figure by March, maybe by March, but maybe a little bit later.
I mean,
Half
yeah,
that
oh,
summertime.
yeah, I like to make, I do like to sort of think, oh, we could definitely get it all finished by like February. And then you sort of think, well, said this before, and then it's ended up being kind of like 6 months after that.
Yeah, I don't know how economical it is. I would think as an artist, you didn't want to do it obviously right before the holidays, or do it right as you enter the summer with a really good summer song. So it's like, the
Yeah,
album for the summer for someone. Like because it's such a great time to be listening to music when you're out and
yeah,
about around the world doing different people, it's still a good time. To me, those would be the times, but I don't know how it would work out financially for anybody. That's why I'm not doing it. But, those to me are always the best times for albums. They come out.
yeah. I think so. Yeah, like yeah, too far into the summer, and it's kind of like everybody's distracted with
Hmm.
festivals and holidays and all that business. And yeah, I mean, there's some summery songs and some wintry songs, so it could it could work for both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think with you there's a time that would throw it off. I'm just saying those are just for me, those are good times to release it. Um, is there anything else you have going on? Any other projects? I mean, 'cause I know you've done a lot. So with church, is there any? So you and your brother working on stuff and solo stuff coming? I mean, you physically always have stuff coming up. Like, what's the next thing we can expect from you?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're even yet to sort of decide on what the order of stuff will be. I mean, it'll probably be, I mean, in a sense, probably church is more tracked, complete-ish,
Yeah.
probably. But yeah, like I say, there isn't really like the kind of scheduling it all out. We haven't done that yet. But yes, there's a new album with that, new church album, new Hassel album, Dystopian Future Movies. There's an album that we're working on that'll take a little longer as well. So that's, I mean, I spoke to you about that band as well, didn't I? So I play drums in that. Sister Caroline, my partner, is the singer and main songwriter.
Okay.
I'm now playing bass in that. So that's much more sort of post rock, I suppose you'd call it. Well, post rocky, shoegazy,
Is it
dark.
out there? I was actually not aware of that. Is there an album out or a Bandcamp or
We're on, what are we on now? We're on, uh, this would be the fourth album probably that we're working on now.
okay?
Yeah.
I will check it out because
Well, that's fine. I'll send you a link. So, I mean,
okay,
you links, don't you, in the description of these? I'll send you
yeah,
links to things. Yeah.
yeah, do that so people can
You
get into it. I mean, there's and the good thing is also I'm sorry is with everybody but these albums without a date, you being so creative and eclectic, it's not rushed, so you're getting what it is. That's why you're more laid back. Like, well, maybe I'm not trying to put you in a corner, but you have so much other material that people that even aren't familiar can jump
Mm,
into. There's so many other albums that you've out from each of these bands. A
mm.
couple here, a couple of them here. Like what you really have like two or three out, and then like you have like three out solo, and then like Church has way more than that out. I mean, so it's like there's stuff to jump into to keep you busy. Also,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, the solo stuff is deliberately very, like, the first one was like sort of heavy rock, lots of multi-layered guitars. Second one was like just piano trio.
hmm
Excuse me. Third one was like, what was it? Yacht Doom. If you
yeah, Doom, that's a good one. You know,
but
they are all good.
he
I think
did dark. I don't know what you call it really, yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, the that was fun to do, kind of like experimenting with like synths and things. Um, but then I think yes, the next solo thing I'm thinking is going to be possibly more down the kind of Steely Dan route because I
very cool.
kind of got obsessed with them for the last maybe 5 years to the point
I've
where
got everything on vinyl by them too, so no judging here. I get it.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
this
got
is
the
it.
vinyl.
Once you've heard the best, it's like it's hard to listen
Yeah.
to an.
I talk about perfection, though, right? Take your time putting an album out. I mean, geez.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's they've really got outside of like that and like Boston was the same way for some of their stuff too at that point, you know.
Mm.
And then later on, just long albums became more about crazy rock star stuff. But there was a point when it was so over the top with like focus that was purely musical reasons why it was taking forever for a band, you know.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
In the early days of rock, and then of course it changed later on. It was just like about you know a million other reasons why albums
Yeah.
are being done. Uh, um, Bill, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I'm excited to hear the other music you have that I hadn't heard yet. So I'll be looking forward to the links, and I'll share them with everybody on YouTube and on all the streaming platforms also.
Thanks a million. Yeah. Thanks for having us again.
No
Great to
problem.
talk to you.
Thank you for being on the show. I want to thank you and everybody check them out. Okay.
Thanks a million.
No problem.